What's good people, it's Ocean here. Welcome back to my channel, welcome to the video. Okay, so one of the biggest issues I had when I started making beats on Logic Pro X is that it was difficult to make the drums. I'm not gonna lie, there's no drum sequencer like FL Studio, but there is another plugin that is stock that I use called Ultrabeat, which is basically the same thing as the FL sequencer. But if you never messed around with Logic Pro X or you never come across it, then I guess you'd never know and you still be dragging in your drums and trying to chop them up and doing all that long stuff that you just don't need to do. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you how I use Ultrabeat to make drums, how to pitch hi-hats, how to pitch drums, how to do all that good stuff. And if it doesn't work for you, I do get DMs from people a lot saying that, oh, it's not working, like how do you pitch your hi-hats, it's not going up and down for me. Then you're in luck because I have an alternative that you can use. So before I get into it, hit that subscribe button right now, join the family. I've got tons more videos coming and I don't want you to miss out, so hit that bell notification too. And with that being said, let's just get straight into it. Alright, so I'm gonna quickly first drag in a random sample that I've created so I can put some drums underneath. Alright, first things first, the plugin that I use, as I said before, is called Ultrabeat. It's a stock plugin in Logic Pro X. So I'm going to open that up, and if you take a look at my one, it says all the samples as 010101. That's because my Ultrabeat is completely plain. I took out every single drum sample that was in Ultrabeat. Sometimes when you open up Ultrabeat for the first time, it has all these random sounds that Logic Pro X has in them. It's just all the stock sounds. So what you got to do, the first thing first, you need to clear all your samples. And you do that by going to this little triangle thing right here and you press unload sample. And if you can't upload the sample, then usually what you have to do is go into Logic Pro X, go into the preferences, go down to advanced tools and make sure that you got the advanced editing ticked. And that should allow you to unload all the samples. First things first, make sure you unload all these samples right here. I've got mine unloaded and I saved that as my default. So every single time I open up Ultrabeat now, I don't have to worry about unloading the samples all the time over and over again. It's plain, it's all good. I'm gonna add in some hi-hats. So the first thing you wanna do is make sure that you have the first one, the first sampler track highlighted, because you're gonna drag your hi-hat there. So I'm just gonna drag in a random one from my Volcano pack. And I'm dragging it into this box here. So now the sample's loaded in this track. By default, your hi-hat will always be on C3. So if I play up my keyboard, it's always on middle C. I cannot play down because it's not pitched. I can only play up. Then I just drag all of this. Literally, I'll just drag it across. That's basically pasting in my hi-hats. And what I like to do, by default, it loads at 1/16. So if I play that quickly, it's going that fast. But I want this to go at half the speed of that. So I'm going to make it 1/8. And 1/8 will span 4 bars. So it'd be like this. Now what I want to do is pitch it, so I'm going to turn the pitch down in here to, I'm going to put it down an octave, so I'm going to put it down to about C2. I put it to C2, but on my keyboard middle C is now, it's now C2, it's just been pitched down. If I want to play at normal, then I have to go up here, but this allows me to have a whole octave which I can pitch down now. Now I'm going to drag this pattern on, I'm going to put it into the editor. I'm going to turn off this sequencer so it doesn't play at the same time. I'm going to open it up, and as you can see here, it says sample 01. As you can see here, even though it's pitched to C2, it automatically goes to C3. So what I'm going to do, everything's controlled, I'm going to press shift, option and up, I'm moving up an octave. So now we got this. Back to normal, but we can pitch them. So I can do this now. So I'm just going to go ahead and pitch my hi-hats really quickly. And I'm going to change the select tool, the pointer tool to a scissors tool. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. And I can chop the hi-hats and create rolls. And that's about it. That's how you pitch your hi-hats in Ultrabeat. If you can't do that, don't worry, there is another way. What you can do is use Alchemy, which is another sampler But it's not as good as Ultrabeat because it doesn't have the sequencer. It's just a backup. But I personally don't use it because it doesn't have the sequencer. But this is what you can do. You open up Alchemy. You initialize the preset. You go to you go to import audio, and I'm just going to drag in a hi-hat. I make sure that I hit sampler and I import it. If you quickly see the difference here, look at the attack and the sustain and everything in Alchemy. They kind of mess it up a bit. Compared to Ultrabeat, the default is a bit different. It has the full envelope and everything. So I just like to reset that. I like to put the delay back up, put the release back up a little bit, so it doesn't affect the sound too much. You can also hear that it's a bit quieter than Ultrabeat. That's why I don't really like to put my percussion, my drums and that into Alchemy, only my 808s. And then you're going to have to go ahead and pencil in the long way your hi-hats. But that's another way you can do it because it's easy to pitch and everything. Now that I got my hi-hats done, I'm going to add in a clap. So I'm going to open up Ultrabeat again, and I'm just going to add in another clap for my Volcano pack. I dropped this pack about a week ago. It's probably like one of my best kits, one of my best drum kits, maybe my favourite drum kit for making trap beats. If you want to copy it, links in the description below. And typically if you're making trap beats, your clap or your snare will always hit on the 9 and the 25, just for that typical trap bounce. So I'm going to leave it like that. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to drag this pattern in. It's got these lines, this button with lines. I just go ahead and drag that in. Drag that in. I make sure I turn off the sequencer. And then I control all of them and I press Command J to join them up. Now I'm going to go ahead and add in my kick. I've just gone ahead, dragged in my kick to Ultrabeat. And remember, it's on 1/16. If you leave it as 1/16, then it will only span 2 bars. And if I change it to 1/8, it spans the entire 4 bars. But when I make my kicks, I actually leave it as 1/16 and I do 2 variations. So I might do something like this. So that's the first part, just this, nice and simple. And I'll drag that first part in, and then I'll put the loop over the next 2 bars. And I'll change up the kicks just a little bit. Something like that, and then I'll drag that in here, control everything, Command J again. So now we've got the claps, the hi-hats and the kicks down. I'll go ahead and add in the perc as well. Now if you want the normal perc bounce for a trap beat, it's always going to hit on the 15 and the 9. So that's going to be like, let me show you. So I'm just going to drag my perc in there. I'm going to select the 15 and the 9 and leave it as 1/16, and this is what we got. And that gives it that typical trap bounce. And sometimes I like to pitch my percs as well, just so it goes a bit better with the beat. So I drag that first part in, and then I want to add some variation for the second part, the last 2 bars. Something like that. And I'll drag that in there. And then you could literally just, instead of opening up Ultrabeat over and over again, I just select the last one, I press Command D to duplicate it, open up Ultrabeat, I can just delete everything there, and drag in another perc. So I'll go ahead and drag in a perc from my Atlantic kick. This is my favourite perc ever, man. It's just that typical trap perc. And let me turn up the volume on this one. So the first 2 bars are going to be like this. Something like that. And I drag that in here, control everything, Command J. So now what we've got here so far is the percs, the kick, the clap and the hi-hats. I'll go ahead and I'll add in an open hat as well. So a cool thing you can do here as well, you can press this arrow and it kind of reverses the sound. So with the open hat, if I just preview it, so it's got that reversed open hat. If I just leave it as normal. So I think I might go with the reversed open hat. I want it to reverse from here. That's not in time, so I'm just gonna have to figure it out. And then what I can do is choose where it comes in by dragging these arrows. And then also I can turn down the release so it gets released a lot faster. I want it to go sk, so as soon as my clap hits, the open hat stops, so I need to drop down the release even more. And then I can go ahead and drag that in as well. Come on, Jay. I hope this tutorial helps you make your drums better. Now you see how I'm able to pitch my hi-hats, and hopefully you can do the same using Ultrabeat. That's how I always do it. And if not, you can always use Alchemy. That's a decent backup. I always use Ultrabeat though because it has that nice sequencer in there. I hope this video helped you guys. And before I leave you, shout out this person right here for leaving a comment on the last video. Thanks for dropping a comment, I appreciate you. I appreciate every one of you guys watching my videos. If you can, give this video a thumbs up because it really helps the channel out, and leave a comment below so maybe I can shout you out in the next video. That's about it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Follow me on Instagram at ProdByOcean, and yeah, that's about it. I'll see you guys in the future.